Hey, everybody. Welcome back to another amazing show with Real Estate Uncensored. This is the Real Estate Marketing Roundtable. We have got a lot of great stuff going for you. But before we get into that, we have to have our countdown. You know, Gene and Jake, when we get into our countdowns, you guys always like to bust my balls on stuff. But I think we got some really great stuff going on today. We're going to talk about short videos, all kinds of great content, and just a lot of value add. Wouldn't you guys agree?
No, I don't. I don't agree with any of that. I think that I'm going to bust your balls again today because look at this shirt you got on.
Hey, this is the dress shirt, mother effer.
I can see your nipples.
Aren't Greg, you look handsome today, my friend.
Yeah.
It's such a yin and a yang happening right now.
If you guys can't see it, Gene is getting a kick out of himself right now. he just thought he was so funny. Gene Volpe, the evil bald ninja. Welcome back, my brother from another mother.
Greg McDaniel, it's great to be here with you two boys. I'd like to recap our conversation last night, if you would allow me.
Ooh,
well, I think
late night?
Yeah, it was.
It was late for me. It was 8 o'clock for you.
Dude, I went to bed like 30 minutes later. Are you kidding me? I'm an old man.
You are an old man. So here, let me go through this.
But wait a minute, we gotta welcome Jake in real quick.
Oh, all right. Listen,
hi everybody.
That's way more important. I do.
Hi everybody. Go ahead, Gene.
No.
I am like really. I'm ready for it. Hi,
kind
everybody.
of funny.
Yeah, go for it. What is the conversation? What were you two gentlemen talking about?
He called me at like 8. He called me 8 o'clock my time, which is 5 o'clock his time, and I couldn't get it. My wife and I were editing a video. Okay, and I'll leave that to your thoughts. We're editing a video for the school play, and so at about 11 o'clock, I said, it's about 11:15. I said, It's still early out in California. So it's 8 o'clock. I'll call him. And he's like, hello. And I'm like, what are you doing? And he's like, I'm laying in bed and I may or may not be naked next to a beautiful woman. And I'm like, and I go, say hi to Dana, Greg. Speakerphone. He goes, hi, Dana. So I go, all right. So I was just calling you back. What did you call about? And he goes, I don't remember. and then I was like, all right, I'll talk to you tomorrow.
It was a very productive call. You know,
was that accurate?
It is accurate. It is accurate 100%. And, you know, I can't remember why I actually originally called you, but it was something very important. But it was something that a lot of us, you know, when it comes to marketing, I think that's something we really need to kind of keep in mind is like, what is our purpose when it comes to reaching out to our clientele, right? Because that's a very interesting conversation because I do remember the conversation. I was extremely tired. I had worked my ass off for like 12 plus hours that day. And I reached out to him like, I got to talk to Gene about something. You know, reached out to him and you know what? I was purposeful, but I didn't follow up appropriately. Yeah. And that's where I dropped the ball on that one. That's what a lot of us do. We drop the ball on stuff like that. But you know, let's talk about marketing, gentlemen. Jake, what do you have to add to this conversation? Because Gene just threw me under the bus.
I think so. Regarding marketing right now, ladies and gentlemen, I think the most important thing is having a focus. All right, we're into 2021. We're into February. Yesterday was 2/2/2021. Today is 2/3. We're starting to get into this whole 2021 mode. It's extremely important, if you haven't done it already, to go ahead and take an audit of yourself. All right. Take some time, sit down, look at all of the things that you might have done in 2020. Take a look at the platforms that you're currently operating on right now, what you're doing, where the dust is and where the dust isn't, and start focusing, making a plan. Do a self-audit on marketing. Are you shooting videos? Do you have a content calendar? Where are you communicating with people socially? Are you driving those folks back to your website? What is your message? Just do a self-audit. A lot of times we get very busy in life and we need to go ahead and always take an audit. At least I recommend once a week to go ahead and make sure that you're following a plan of action, putting together good content, know what you're doing. Otherwise, you're going to find yourself in a month or two from now, super busy with real estate. Your pipeline's not filling up like you want it to. because all of these things work together as one working piece. Do an audit. And that's my recommendation.
I think what you said right there is really interesting. And Jake, I'd want to break that down a little bit more. When you say a content calendar, a lot of folks are like, a content calendar? How the fuck do I create one of those? So Gene and Jake, you guys, I'm a new agent. How do I create a content calendar? And after that, I want to jump into Clubhouse and talk about visibility a little bit. I know we talked about it on the last one, but I think there's a way to really gain some, gain some traction there. So content calendar, where do we start?
As with anything in life, it's good to go ahead and write down the things that you need to do, the tasks for your business. But it's important because you have to expose your brand, create different types of communication. When you make a decision on operating on different social platforms or creating content that's consumable, even for hosting on your website, putting it up on YouTube, create a list of events, a calendar, the content you want to create, when you're going to create it, where it's going to go. So you can kind of embed it into your whole business tactics, right? Your tips of the week and things like that.
Okay. So you're just bringing value on a scheduled basis is what you're saying.
Well, it's a good way to go ahead and keep track, because think about it. If you don't schedule this content to go ahead and either build, whether that's written, or build, whether that's on video on Saturday about this topic, what do I need to do to go ahead and get prepared for it? If you're shooting in your studio, if you're shooting in your office, what kind of camera equipment you need? Are you shooting around town? Do you need A-roll, B-roll type footage? It depends on the production level that you want to go, but content is king. Value on video, value written as well, are all forms of ways that we use for retention and conversion type operations. So content calendar, it just gets you in the right mindset. And if you don't put it down in your tasks and things to do, all of a sudden Wednesday comes and you blow right past it.
So Gene, we've created the content calendar. Now we've shot it. What do you do with it as a marketer?
Wait, say that again. We've created the content calendar, and now what do I do with it?
So the content count, Jake and his teams have created the content calendar. The agent has shot the content. They have now delivered the raw content to you and your team. What happens at this point, and how do they operate, and how do they get it? How do they get it out?
Oh, wait. So hold on. There's another step in there that I feel like we might be skipping over. So when you create the content calendar, we're not only creating a list of things that you're going to shoot video for that week, let's say, right? But we're also setting a schedule on what posts go out, what days, whether there's video or not. So in other words, what we try to get our clients to do. And look, admittedly, I'm terrible at the content calendar. That's not how I handle my social media, but I'm starting to, for 2021, I'm going to pay more attention to it because there's so much value to it. But what I think that you want to look at is, and again, I like to teach people to do it on a week-to-week basis, just because I feel like that's more consumable for folks, as opposed to if I put a full month in front of you, I think people might choke. But I always like to say to people, pick a time where you can spend an hour, and it doesn't matter if it's like I always say, sometimes Sunday nights when football season's in, I'll sit and watch the 8:00 game, East Coast, drink a bottle of wine, and set up my marketing for the week. Like it's 3 hours. I know these are the three things that I'm going to be doing. All three have an opportunity for me to take some real-time content pictures to put on Instagram. So I'm going to mark that down. Tuesday, we have a new listing going to market. So maybe Monday I might do a teaser, and then Tuesday show them some pictures from it. And then Wednesday, we have a cancer event that we're going to be at that I want to definitely start to promote and send people. Friday, we have a closing. We're going to take pictures at the table. Saturday, we're going out with the buyers for a 4-hour. Like, all these things can all be scheduled on the content calendar, and then actually inside each social media platform to schedule posts for that entire week. And then the following Sunday, when the Eagles are playing the Niners at 8:00, I sit down and I go through it again. And I say, what happened last week that I want to promote this week, and what's coming up this week that I want to make sure that everybody's aware of. And that's kind of how we set the calendar from week to week.
So Jake, go ahead.
I have a very good suggestion to go ahead and start this process. If you guys are brand new to doing anything content calendar, or your content assembly has been kind of disorganized a little
Like
bit.
mine, like mine.
Like yours.
You can say it.
Start with absolute mandatory building out content for a weekly email that can go out to your database, and it'll get you really focused in on the value that you want to go ahead and put out to these people. You're going to start thinking about different things that you could go ahead and share, hyper-local information, upcoming events, things that are pertaining to your business. Whatever you're dumping on value in that weekly email will start to go ahead and evolve itself. Now, here's where it evolves. You push yourself to sending out a weekly email that adds value and nurtures your database. Now, after you have this written content down, you can take a look at it and say, that's a really good topic that I just shared in this email. That would be great for a short video that I can go ahead and put on Facebook. Or maybe it's a super good video of value that would be evergreen to go ahead and shoot a little bit of a longer content type video that could go up on YouTube and stay there to go ahead and kind of get in the way of any people that are thinking about relocating to your local community, stuff like that, right? So I think if everybody just focuses in, brings it back to the basics, really focus on dumping a really good email once a week out to your database, and then watch how your content evolves from there. Those same value topics that you're putting down in that email ultimately gives you different opportunities to put it onto different social platforms, right? To where you can create relevant content on Instagram, on Facebook, on YouTube, on LinkedIn. Maybe that same written email is really good to go ahead and take bite-sized pieces of and share it to your tribe on LinkedIn. Value, value, value.
So what you're really talking about is intention. It comes down to being very intentional about how you're going to operate. And Jake, as an ex-military guy, you obviously are very intentional on everything that you do in both personal and professional lives. I want to talk about really quickly with intention for visibility for marketing, the different platforms that everybody's operating on. So we have Clubhouse that we'll talk about Clubhouse. We have talked about Clubhouse. We'll do it again. We're going to talk about Instagram stories, Facebook posts, IG lives, Facebook lives, Facebook posts, the whole 9 yards. Where would you feel, and you guys are the two marketers here, where would you feel the best amount of time would be spent in regards to visibility plays, and how would you bring people there? So here's my question. We set the stage. Here's the thing. Could you, should you do Instagram and Facebook stories, YouTube shorts, bringing everybody back to a post or a Facebook live on one of the platforms and telling people what they're going to be doing and leading them into that? Or would you just go live on these different platforms using something like StreamYard or LiveLeap or something along those lines? How would you operate to get the most visibility in the shortest amount of time at the lowest possible cost?
So advanced marketers always put themselves in a mindset of 3 different pillars of marketing. There's acquisition of your prospective customer, there's conversion, and then there's retention. Okay, so these 3 pillars forms the life cycle of events of anywhere from prospect to customer and retaining brand awareness after you've actually even closed a sale. It's retention of brand in front of these people. Now, with understanding those different life cycles of a customer, from super cold to closed, and then making sure I stay in touch with people that I've already worked, invested time, money, and energy into, it always comes into when you're thinking about all of these different areas to communicate socially, you want to understand the traffic model, the relationship events that are happening with your consumer, and making sure you're setting yourself up to receive. Okay, so you always want follow through, meaning this: if I'm looking to go acquire new customers, there's different ways that I can do it. I can cold call, I can text, I can go ahead and get into social, I can create advertisements. There's a lot of different acquisition things that you can think about for your business. Now, once they all of a sudden touch your website, and maybe they haven't converted through a contact form squeeze page, landing page to go ahead and actually become your customer yet, now you can go ahead and start different cycles of events into nurturing those folks, remarketing to them, okay, to get them closer to the conversion. Once they've converted, now you do your core competency as a real estate agent. And then even after the conversion actually happens, when you start knowing them, your retention systems need to go ahead and deploy. Meaning, if somebody converts through a contact form, landing page, squeeze page, you should have a whole bunch of value emails going out, talking, once a week, just nurturing them, getting them closer, bringing them closer. After they've actually went ahead and closed with you, then it's about retaining brand awareness to these people. So ultimately, once you have your whole underlining system set up for your business, now this is the exact same way that people in the mortgage industry do it. You'll notice that some people have systems where after you've came in, all of a sudden emails are going out, your holiday emails, just thinking about you. If you know their birthday, happy birthday type stuff, anything that can just keep contact, right? But you have to set up your business in such a fashion that you have all of these things thought about. So then you can go out to social, get into the conversations with people and start sending them intentionally towards those areas. New customers are going on the acquisition side of your underlining marketing system. After they've converted, they're moving. So I like to go ahead and think about business completely different than I see a lot of people in the real estate industry. So many people are like, well, what should I be doing on Facebook and Insta and LinkedIn? I need to make sure that I have my whole business model set up and my whole marketing communication system in such a way that now I can go ahead and use Facebook for what it is, get into the conversation, send out videos, make organic, engaging posts. YouTube, same way. LinkedIn, same way. Those are all outside of my business house, bringing them back in, starting the whole flow of events.
So basically being a human and having conversations as a human, but then putting them into the process that will allow you to continue those conversations to build, right?
How many times have you heard that without the right systems set up in your business, it's tough to scale? Okay. It takes up an extreme amount of time for you as a business owner because now you're handling all of these different aspects. So that core systems, making sure that you have things written down. Do I have a good website? Do I have these different things? What are the communication flows? Do I have a system to properly do this stuff? Now that I know that when I acquire a customer, they come here, this is going to happen, 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 because you're trying to take somebody from a cold audience to a converted audience to getting on the darn phone with me. And there's a lot of different things that you can use, but having systems in your business will go ahead and help support you. So you're not pulling your hair out at the end of the week. You have people to go ahead and help you, systems to support you, and it's allowing nurturement of your customer at various different stages of the customer cycle.
Gene, I think Jake just dropped hammer. Add on that, because that's some good shit right there. And a lot of people don't think it like that.
Oh, he knows what he's doing. I take it from a different approach. You know that, and not different. I mean, I think everything he just said spot on. But for a lot of people, that's a lot to consume. So it is right. Like he just laid out 25 years of marketing experience where he's gotten to a point where he has it really fine tuned. Right. And I don't expect that most of the people that are watching this comprehended 50% of it, let alone can execute it. So like one of the things that I always,
hold on.
Oh God.
The people who listen and watch this show are very intelligent human beings. Do not talk down to them. They understand this.
Don't misinterpret what I'm saying. I didn't say anybody was dumb except for you. I just said, I'm kidding. No, I didn't say anybody was not intelligent, but if you're a real estate agent watching this, your forte is not the marketing funnel, right? Like, I mean, that's just not what you do.
True.
There are a couple people, don't get me wrong. I mean, I think there's probably people watching going, how dare you? I've been doing this longer than you've been. Okay, I get that. There's people that are, but for the most part, everybody watching this is watching it because they're not in Jake's league, right? So that stuff can be tough. So what I'm saying to you is, in a lot of cases to get started, I say to the agents, a lot of this needs to unfold organically and see where it goes. I mean, you're going to make some mistakes and you're probably going to end up losing some leads because you screwed it up one way or the other, whether you didn't capture them properly up front or when you did capture them, you let 6 days go by and they now have, 25 other agents contact them, you're last on the list. So what I always tell people is the one thing I love about marketing and I try to take advantage of is the petri dish nature of it. Like it's like a science project for me when I wake up. If you don't know what's going to play out, where it's going to go, start somewhere, do a live video, see what happens, see what rabbit hole it falls down, capture an email and then send a newsletter. Like it doesn't have to be all laid out from front to back in order for you to get started. Like get started and create a conversation. It might be messy, but if it being messy up front creates a $23,000 lead, well, in your head, you need to go like this. Okay, what just happened? How do I recreate that on a regular basis? And what systems do I need in place so I don't have to chase this around like a cat chasing its tail, right?
You're gonna get there, Gino, right? I mean, even if you start without a focus, you're going to ultimately end up being exactly where I'm at. And I'm not trying to go ahead and really take everybody to the Bill Nye the Science Guy level right now. Okay. What I'm actually wanting to do is maybe change the way that you're looking at things. Okay. So there's different practices when you're looking to acquire a customer. There's different practices when you're looking to convert, and there's different practices when you're looking to retain. Okay. All right. So now with that being said, Gene, let's go ahead and kind of break this down. If I'm just operating on Facebook, what kind of acquisition practices would I be doing on Facebook to acquire new customer, to acquire?
Well, first is some kind of video or advertisement, right? Like maybe a lead capture, right? I mean, well, hold on. Let me start, but let me go back. Just being there and having the algorithm working for you at a high level. So let's pretend we didn't spend any money yet. I got to have a good presence. So going back to what you said to start the show, I have to have a solid presence that has updated information with current material so people know I'm in the business and I'm in the business now.
So I need to get into a position to receive, right?
Okay.
So now once I open up my doors to my business on Facebook, the acquisition practices would be?
Well, posting in general and then Facebook advertising.
Correct. Okay. That's acquisition. So when you think about your customer journey, you guys should be thinking about this, even if you're focused just solely on Facebook. Now, conversion on Facebook. What am I looking to do? What are these things that I can do on Facebook, Gino, for conversion?
Well, first is be specific on who you target and the niche you're going after, and then offering something of value in return for their information, right? So depending on where you want to take them in the funnel, let's just say, for example, we'll keep it simple. You know, I have a business. My information's current. I'm going to offer you out a free analysis of your property value because people hear they're going up now. So in exchange for your email, I'm going to go ahead and give you a no obligation comparable market analysis. Does that answer that a little bit?
So you start giving some offerings to these people, right? Offerings of value, which aids towards conversion, right? So you first acquire attention, then you start having conversations where you're offering things of value to go ahead and get them to convert, right? Okay. Gino, talk to me about what companies like ManyChat do. I mean, follow-up bots. Talk about bots.
So bots are actually out of my expertise. I mean, I know what they do. I would actually leave that to you. I mean, basically it's a human conversation that's not coming from a human, right? So somebody signs up for one of my offers, a ManyChat bot will then reach out to them and give them certain different scenarios and questions to answer so that I can kind of further go down the rabbit hole and qualify them more for what it is that I'm about to give to them. But it's not me doing it. It's an AI, right?
An automated system established through Messenger to go ahead and actually start a conversation with people, right? So these are all nurturing events that you can utilize from acquisition to conversion, and after conversion to getting them on the phone with you, having a conversation. Okay. And then what do we do for retention on Facebook? Now we've got these people, they're friends with us and everything else. What kind of things will we do to retain?
Well, I think this is the easiest part. The easiest part is to continue to be there and continue to be full of free on knowledge, right? It's less, I feel like it's a 9-to-1 ratio. And for every time you post about something in your business, 9 times you're posting stuff that can help other people without the obligation of them calling you to spend money in your business. Mm-hmm. So creating that open line, the communication, the free information, look, I think there's part of it too, that you sort of you can't be a robot. You have to be somewhat engaging, or at least your content has to be engaging, keep people sticking around until they need what it is that you're offering them. Right.
So we just talked about the whole life cycle of the relationship, really from marketing online. And we just went ahead and laid out some very simple high-level tactics on Facebook. But we were thinking about what is the journey during acquisition, nurturing more after we know that we know who somebody is, nurturing them to get them into a conversion state of mind on the phone, and then retaining people that are now inside of your tribe. So if you do end up starting, you're gonna end up getting here regardless to where you're thinking about it. So I just wanted everybody to kind of understand how we think about the flow of events that happen in a customer journey on the line.
Wait, so hold on for a second. I want to add one more thing, because I think I felt like you were leading to this and then you stopped short, but this is your forte, right? Like when you asked me, how do we continue to add value? One thing that I didn't mention that I thought you would have jumped on is retargeting. So, I mean, in addition to keeping the content fresh and offering value at all times, all the time, 9-to-1 ratio, business to personal, personal business, whatever. At some point along that life cycle of acquiring that client, we've gotten information from them, right? And I always say to people, depending on how attractive your offer is, will determine how much information they give you. I mean, as a marketer, you know, Jake, would you rather have just somebody's first name, or do you want first name, last name, social security number, physical address, their mom and dad's names, their mother?
As much information as possible, right?
As much as you can. But we know that if I look at something, I see something that attracts my attention and it says, here is I can tell you this because I do this all the time. Give me your email address and enter for a chance to win this brand new gun. Right. And I'm like, shit, yeah, here's my email address. Right. But if they said to me, and phone number, I probably would do that too, because a lot of these things are $1,000 in value. So I'm exchanging my phone number and my email for an opportunity to possibly win $1,000, right? Let's call it that. That to me is a fair trade-off. If you said to me, give me your email address and phone number, also the names of your children, and I'd like bank account numbers, and we might send you a PDF of, how to drive your car next Tuesday, I'd be like, no, that's not a fair trade-off, right? So I think from our perspective as marketers, one of the things that people on the outside don't really see is that value of how do we get somebody to give us the information that we need to properly market and retarget them, and what is something of value we can give that they would say, yeah, this makes sense. I definitely want to trade the information Jake wants for what they are giving me. And then at that point, then we can hit them with the retargeting on your newsletter because we have the email address, any emails we want, text messaging because we now have their cell phone. We also have information that will allow us to hit them while they're inside Facebook. We'll have information to hit them while they're outside Facebook. So we get to that point where it's like, holy shit, dude, you're everywhere, right? Like, so the retargeting piece, I wanted you to talk about that a little bit because I didn't want to let that slide. That's kind of like your forte.
Yeah, it is. So that's with paid advertising, right? And that's with us being able to go ahead and utilize people that are inside of our tracking pixels. Now, I like to consider two things, Gene, right? Is I have a known database. Those are the people that I already have inside of my CRM, people that I already have inside of social networks that I know, right? That's John Smith at 1234 Main Street inside my CRM, or that's John Smith, the guy that just connected with me on Facebook. Okay. Those are known people, and I can go ahead and control communication to them. But there's another part of this. So this really comes down in the acquisition to conversion zone of a customer's journey. Now, I know that a lot of people will touch my website. They'll take a look around, but they don't even think about entering any of their information at all whatsoever. So how in the world am I going to go ahead and continue to talk to them with my brand? So we utilize advanced tracking scripts, intelligence pixels, and social pixels all laid out on my digital footprints, because unbeknownst to them, just like when you guys have gone to a website and you're shopping for shoes, now all of a sudden you see advertisements about shoes always popping up in different places. You're like, oh my gosh, what's this? Well, the control of communication by utilizing this technology allows for me to assemble a whole bunch of good content. Should be on video, value added, frequently asked questions, should know questions, things like that. And now all of a sudden you can start putting out in front of these folks, aiding and bringing them closer to you to the conversion. So, and I don't want to get too overly deep on today's marketing roundtable show, but I seriously think that everybody should do an audit on where they've been in 2020, what they're doing right now, and kind of look inward, make an intentional plan to go ahead and make sure that you don't have any dust on your systems, and kind of think about the customer journey from, and am I doing the right things to acquire people properly? What am I doing to nurture those people more after I acquire them to get them to convert? And then am I doing a really good job in staying in contact with the people that I've converted through landing pages, squeeze pages, funnels, or am I doing a good job staying in touch with the people who have already paid me and I've already represented? Well, I think it's important to go ahead and strengthen the foundational cornerstones of your marketing platforms online and ultimately your business.
Let's talk about contact really quickly. I've heard that a couple of times in this conversation. And what would be considered good contact? Because a lot of people are over concerned right now about overly contacting people. And how do I contact them? Should I contact them? You know, in certain parts of the country, you can't contact them by phone. You have to do different methods. So, gentlemen, Gene, we'll start with you. Then Jake will go to you in regards to kind of like contacting and just staying relevant. Where would you start with that? Because there's so many different thoughts and theories on that one.
Yeah, look, 3-4 years ago, I would have said to you, just be careful because there's not as much noise as there is now. And if people are seeing your face, if every single post is your face selling something, you're going to hide that person, right? But there is so much noise out in our space digitally and where we're at. Like a lot of people are home now because of this whole pandemic. So you're not driving on the streets and as much as you used to and looking at the billboards, the digital billboards, the change and all that stuff as many times a week as you did maybe last week or last year when you were going to work. So, but I think the landscape is so noisy that you can't really, look, people are spending money. There's advertising going on. People are hitting their Facebook pages harder than you are. And that the way the algorithm is built is that even though they're hitting the page harder than you are, even their fans are only seeing 1 out of every 5 posts, right? So it's like, try to tell people that the way the algorithm is built just in Facebook alone is, let's just say for every 1,000 fans, every time you post, about 40 of your fans will see that, which means you could post 25 times, and don't correct my math, I know I'm off, but you could post 25 times organically and everybody on your feed would see you once or twice. That it seems like you're doing a lot because you're posting a ton, but in reality is the guys that are following your page are only seeing 2 of those 15 posts that are coming out, right? So between that and all the other things that are going on and all the people spending money, I don't really think you can overdo it these days. There's just so much noise that I would rather, if you're really aggressive and every one of your posts is sign my newsletter, give me your information, I feel like people will be more apt to walk away and to hide you. But if you're just kind of in their space all over the place and it's your name and it's a catchphrase and it's your brokerage and it's this and it's that, they're just subconsciously going to see you everywhere and you're going to be top of mind all the time. So I don't necessarily think that in most cases, again, there's going to be exceptions to this rule, but I don't think that there's really a point right now with all this noise that we have that you can overdo it. That's my thought.
Let me chime in real quick. As we were talking, I was scrolling on my phone. I got an alert, and so I looked at it, and there was an individual that I went and blocked from seeing stuff anymore from this individual, because this individual has irritated me beyond fucking words on multiple different levels. And I think that's the thing that I think a lot of people are kind of getting to that point as, like, you're just seeing so much stuff. And then, Jake, I wanted to ask you about the 80-20 or the 95-5 rule in regards to content, because if people are going to be seeing only so much about what we're putting out there, should we do the 80-20 rule, the Pareto rule, in regards to kind of like 80% of personal, 20% business, or should we do 95% personal, 5% business, just because there's so much just noise, like Gene was saying? Where do we land on this, and how do we leverage that?
So before I go there, I want to go ahead and say something that's very important. And my recommendation as far as content is not about frequency. It's about starting with quality. If you're not going to say something of value and quality, don't even say it at all. Okay? Period. So be focused on the content that you're creating and the value that you're providing for your prospective customers and the people that are already converted, your tribe, your past customers. value. Once you go ahead and get good value down on content, and you can increase the frequency at which you are putting out good quality content, then you go ahead and stand on the throttle a little bit more. It's not worth putting out content that's not valuable. Now, regarding, did you want to say something, Greg?
I was going to say, what in regards to what would be valuable in your point of view, as you guys both are master marketers. A lot of people, I mean, we all think that what we have to say is really fantastic, but I'm sorry to say, guys, a lot of the times it really doesn't matter.
That's so okay. If you were a personal choice, Greg,
really, that was my question. What would be the value?
It's a personal choice, because you guys all are your own business owners. You have the choice to go ahead and put out what you think is valuable and how that represents you in your business. I'm here to tell you right now, ladies and gentlemen, the market will tell you whether or not that is good, valuable content.
Yep.
Or the other side. It's just like all of the years where people are producing products, even advertising. There's been times where I've had some of my graphic design teams come through, in my marketing companies come through, and I think that that's going to be a fantastic graphic advertisement, and it's going to convert a lot of people, and then it just falls flat on its face. And then I see other things that are coming in, and I'm like, ooh, I would never even put that out there. And then the next thing you know, it's a ringer. So, but reversing here a little bit, it's a personal choice. You know what's valuable to you. You know what you feel that you should represent from your company, and it's a personal choice. It really is. So I would say start with things like this. Value is almost commensurate and equal with the frequently asked questions that you find yourself answering when you're actually face-to-face with a client. The suggestions that you're making, those should know questions that you're telling your prospects, hey, you should think about this. And that'll get you going in the right direction, because that's what you're.
I think if I could just kind of nail home what he just said, I always tell people this: all the shit you think is going to work probably won't, and all the stuff that you think is going to fall flat on its face is what you should be trying more often.
Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
No. Oh, the funny thing, I was just going to weigh in on that. I do an article for Imnan News every single week. My friend Bernice, who she and I do the articles. We did this article, and it was hilarious. It was last year in 2020. We thought it was a complete throwaway article. Like, we're just doing it just for like, oh shit, we just got to put something out there. Just, just throw it out the wall. It got the third highest, viewed article on Inman for the entire year. And we're like, holy shit, like, how did this happen? And it was just because we just threw stuff. We didn't know what people wanted to hear. And now we're learning what people want to hear. And I think the information you two gentlemen are throwing out there is absolutely gold. I love that. And that's the value, right? That's where you learn how to bring the value.
So, Greg, I want to answer your question for those people that are trying to understand what you mean by 80-20 and 90-10 and 95-5s, right? So there's different theories out there, ladies and gentlemen, on the perfect kind of a blend from the true professional things and sharing just hardcore real estate type information, and then that little bit of helping people get to know who you are, the journey that they can expect by doing business with you, maybe a little bit of a touch of who you are behind the scenes. It goes back to the whole know, like, trust. People are more likely to go ahead and do business with people that they can relate to. And sometimes people focus their marketing initiatives specifically geared towards their tribes. If you are working at the ASPCA and animal shelter and you're big into rescuing animals and rehoming, maybe you're a veteran and you're starting to focus towards veteran type stuff. There's that know, like, and trust kind of a thing. But I don't know, once you get to the top end of things, that there's an exact super science where you have to go ahead and be very strict on yourself and calculate the things. It's a personal preference there once again, but it is very important to go ahead and make sure that these people know a little bit more about you as a person, not just straight, I'm realtor, fact on various different things. So that really aids towards helping with the conversion of bringing people in once they get to know a little bit more about you. It goes back to your brand. You are your brand in real estate. Mm-hmm. It really helps out. So that's what Greg was talking about, the 80-20, 90-10, 95-5.
Well, it comes down to just being you. I mean, Jake, you're a veteran. Gene, you're bald. I'm a white guy in San Francisco. You know, boy, all these different qualities. We can talk about different things. We can have a lot of different, tribes that are to come over to us. I would say, and gentlemen, please disagree or agree with me. I'm open to either one. Just be 100% authentically true, transparently, real about who you are. Talking about your wants, needs, desires, fears, hopes, dreams, and everything else. Be weird, be strange, but don't curse. Don't bring religion, don't bring politics, don't bring anything controversial into your conversations, but bring value into everything that you do for everybody else in regards to your marketing. And I feel, and again, gentlemen, agree or disagree, I feel that I think that will bring more business to you than you can possibly imagine. And here's a funny story. I've told this story before, and I'm going to tell it again because I always laugh about it because I'm so just dumbfounded by this. I was walking down the stairs of my complex the other day, and this gal was walking her dog. She asked for directions. I gave her directions. She looked down, and yes, I have a girlfriend. Yes, she painted my toenails because we're in COVID. And Jake always shakes his head and just kind of like, what the fuck am I talking about with this guy? Like, I'm a war veteran, and I have a guy with toenails as my business partner. What the shit? But I got a list. Here's the point. I got a listing appointment. Shut up, Gene.
I'm just watching his face as you recreate what he's.
I had to tell Gino yesterday in the Tactical Tuesday, or I had to tell Greg yesterday in the Tactical Tuesday show that they do make a product called nail polish remover. He doesn't have to walk around like that forever, even if he's the test baby.
Jesus.
I know, but here's the point. I had a conversation. I talked to her about her dog. She talked to me about, we exchanged conversations about toenail polish, which I know it's a totally weird conversation to have as a straight male, with another human being. But you know what? It was a bond that we found, and she was so thankful that we had this conversation. She's like, "Give me your card," and I'm like, "Shit, I hope I have a card." And I gave it to her. Just because I was bringing value to her life, and I was bringing relevance to a conversation that we were having. And that's being authentic, that's being transparent, and that's being real. People, guys, gals, everybody out there, start to wake up and start to, just take the shells off your eyes and just work with Gene, work with Jake, work with me. Let's get you guys authentic. Let's get you out there. Let's get you visible. Let's find you your tribes. World is changing. I've read so many different articles that, like, normal, that shit ain't fucking coming back. Not for a long time. So let's deal with what we got.
Greg, I'd like to share my thoughts, my opinions.
Do you have painted toenails too?
No, sir, I do not. Okay. Now that we're past that. Okay. So once again, it comes back to personal preference. So some things behind the scenes, being the most authentic you and airing out all of your personal stuff might be you. Right. You might be okay with that. Here's what I suggest. I suggest being intentional with the content that you're willing to go ahead and release. Find out what you're comfortable releasing, what you should release, things along those lines, and stay in your lanes. The content that you're communicating and sharing and letting out to the world is going to be the road and the pathway back to you and your business. So you don't have to air out your dirty laundry, all of your biggest mistakes or things along those lines to go ahead and think that you're going to be relational. In addition, I do have some, I do see people share political things. A lot of people say, "Hey, stay away from politics." A lot of people say, "Hey, stay the hell away from religion." But if you are trying to align yourself specifically with that group, then that might be something intentional from a marketing standpoint that you are intending on doing. What I'm saying is be intentional. Most people always say, stay away from politics and religion. And normally that's a really good word of caution, right? From a marketing business standpoint, but knowing what will happen, the cause and effect of the information that you release, just be intentional about what you release. So,
yeah, that is phenomenal advice. Gentlemen, we are at our mark when it comes to, and Jake just fucking dropped hammer on that. Intentional, just be intentional. Okay, let's do a round of where people can get a hold of everyone. Gene, you work for a small company, do you not?
Yes.
What's it called?
There it is, GVI Media.
Yeah, GVI Media. And how do they reach out to you?
Right here on my name, genevolpe.com.
And Jake, I think you're doing something kind of small. What would that be?
Listen, I want to say something. What Jake is doing is really, really clever.
Guys, what I would just put up there is I put a picture of the semi truck that Jake is going to be he's partnering up with, and we're going to get 100 rigs on the road, and there's going to be a lot of cool stuff. But Clever Leads is just an amazing company, so amazing stuff. And Jake, how would they get a hold of you, my friend?
Yeah, go to Clever Leads with a K, KLEVR leads.com, and you can go ahead and read some information on the website, enter your information on any of the contact forms on the website, and one of my employees will go ahead and reach out to you and do a discovery call. We'll get you into our private group where we share a bunch of huge value bombs on marketing and systems and all this crazy stuff. So
love it. You guys are absolute gems. I love both of you guys, like brothers from another mother. Guys, as you guys know, my name is Greg McDaniel, host of this show, and I want to invite you guys to join my real estate EXP team. We are hiring, as you can see on the screen. We're looking forward to have new folks on. Once you guys come on to our team, you're going to see a lot of new stuff that we're going to be able to be doing with Clever in regards to the trucking side, and then you're also going to be able to get involved with this beautiful gentleman right here, who's always surprised at himself when he takes his own photos, Mr. Gene Volpe over at GVI Media. And I just love you guys to pieces. We could not do this show without you. It is 100% because of you guys that we are here and where we have been rated so high. So thank you for sharing us. Thank you for being a part of our lives. Gene and Jake, I need one color and a second color for a bow for the show. Gene?
Fuchsia.
How do I even pair that color up, Gene?
I don't even know what fuchsia is.
You know what? I'm going to go with pearl.
Oh, so you did very nice. I think that's a good one.
See, I rolled right through the color templates.
Gentlemen, that is fantastic. You guys should be fashionistas. So we have a pearl and a fuchsia bow on this show. Thank you guys again. We love you to pieces. Until next time, peace out, ninjas. We gone.